Hey, folks, welcome to InTheMoneyStocks.com's live trading action video. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here. Today's date is Tuesday, February 14th, 2017. We'll take a look at the NASDAQ 100, folks. Up a little bit, only a quarter of a percentage point, which isn't that much. But again, a majority of that upside is coming on the back of Apple. And Apple, again, having a nice move into the all-time highs, actually making new all-time highs today. So a very nice move there. Now, a couple things I want to bring to your attention. So obviously, we're seeing the NASDAQ, in my opinion, a little bit on the weaker side than you would expect, considering Apple is having a fantastic day. And if we punch in Apple, you can see, again, trading at all-time highs right here at 135. In fact, it's right here at an all-time high right now based on the current price. Now, you might say, wow, that's a great move on Apple. That's euphoric. That's great for the stock. That must be so good for the index and the overall market. But it's interesting because there are a lot of things that are kind of stalling out just a little bit. And I want to bring them to your attention because I think it's important. Like, you're going to turn on CNBC today or any of these other talking head stations, right? And you're going to hear a lot of kind of crazy bullish sentiment, kind of the, throw all your money in, put it all long, go nuts, go away on vacation, come back in 6 months and you'll be super rich. You're going to hear that kind of stuff. And I want to give you an alternative kind of thought process here because, listen, I know I'm in the minority of being not as bullish as the talking heads on TV, the ones that are just screaming and saying, oh, this market's never going down. But I just follow the charts. That's all I do. I just focus on these charts. And the problem is that aside from Apple, there's not a ton of strength out there. And I want to show you. So, for instance, let's take a look at Amazon. All right, Amazon today is down buck 80 on the day. So this is another major stock in the NASDAQ 100, and it's actually down buck 80. Now let's look at Facebook. Facebook's down 33 cents. Now, it was down a lot more earlier today. It's come back, but it's still negative on the day, down a quarter percentage point. All right, how about Netflix? Look at that. Netflix is down 2%. Now, that's a big move on Netflix. That's actually very shocking to see Netflix falling like this. So I guess my point is this. If you were to take Apple's gains out today, would the market on the NASDAQ, would it actually be up? And I actually would fair a guess that it probably wouldn't be. Now, listen, we wouldn't be down a ton by any stretch, but it is interesting, and I just wonder if it's a leading indicator that some of these other names are starting to roll over. And listen, we won't know for a day or two, right? So, you look at the market and you say, okay, it's an updated day. NASDAQ's doing well. S&P's doing well. Dow's doing very well. But in a couple days, let's look back at this call and this kind of heads up and see what we see. Okay, and again, you could look at some other stocks. Tesla's actually still up a little bit. But even this, look at the tail on Tesla starting to form here. It's a nice little sell. In fact, we shorted Tesla in the research center today at the highs. So far, so good on that. We're in the money about $3 or so, or a couple dollars on this already. But listen, I don't expect this to pull back enough to form a topping tail. It would have to sell off another $1 to $1.50 into the end of the day. But it definitely. Tesla's. This is a ridiculous move on Tesla, over 55% on the upside. But this tail here does make me wonder if there's some bigger institutions starting to sell into it. And just something we want to keep an eye on here and see how it plays out. So, again, we'll go one step at a time and kind of see how things trade. But definitely getting my attention here, guys. And again, even other stocks like Intel's fractionally positive today, so is Cisco, but not robust gains aside from Apple out there. And, just something to keep in the back of your mind. So, for me at least, going back to the NASDAQ 100, which is now up about 33 cents on the day, literally a quarter percentage point, you can see how extended it is. I believe, listen, I don't want to even, go out on a limb and say it's a long-term top, but I do think that we're due for a pullback. And listen, it's just a healthy thing. You don't have to go crazy. Oh, it's not like I'm calling a crash here or anything. All I'm saying is you need a healthy pullback after massive upside gains. And just to give you a sense of this, folks, if you go back to November, the lows right here in the beginning of November, the NASDAQ 100 was at 113 and change. We're now at 128.50. So that's basically a 15-point move or almost a 15% move. Almost, a little less, about 13, 12% move to the upside. That's a tremendous move for 3 months in the NASDAQ. Now, the Russell had a bigger move up earlier and it's kind of stalled out a little bit. And the Russell's another thing I'm watching very closely here. This is the last thing I'll mention to you. But keep an eye on the Russell. See this former pivot high? We pierced it yesterday. We did not close above it. And then today, what I'm watching is, do we close above it? Do we push up and close above it into the end of the day? If we don't, I would say that's a little bearish. If we do push above it, then that's actually bullish. Listen, the NASDAQ should still stall out and pull back, but it would be helpful for the overall market to make a case for the bullish side if the IWM could at least close at a new all-time high. Remember, yesterday it pierced it, but by the end of the day it reversed. And today it's kind of right there. I mean, literally, look at that trend line. It's trading right there. So these things we want to follow, folks, and again, we'll follow them very, very closely. Let's see how they trade into the end of the day. Let's evaluate the market in the overnight session here and look at tomorrow. But again, if Apple ends up stalling out, the way these other stocks are behaving, it's very likely you'll see a pullback in the QQQ. Okay? So again, take it for what it's worth. Thanks as always. Come join us at InTheMoneyStocks.com. Take the 7-day free trial. We'll see you there soon. Making money. Take care.